No, a couple mistakes. I mean, yeah, give everybody access, right? Like some companies decide that, yeah, let's get BI and we put all this in. We have the data warehouse with ETL set up, and now we have this BI tool, and let's start with the executives. Give them the BI tool. They are probably the people that use it the least. Like I've seen, I mean, the CEO always wants it and he always gets it because he pays for it. But, you know, they're in meetings, they're busy, they're already building partnerships and who knows what. The person that really benefits, and I know I'm going back to the junior marketing associate, but you know, that person really needs BI to make better decisions for her business because she's going to use that information and immediately change things. Like the CEO is not going to change the way he goes about his day because of what he just saw. The CEO may run into the room screaming and yelling at what's going on right here, but he's not going to, you know, cancel a couple of meetings in the afternoon and is now going to do something differently. So when you think about BI, don't think of the top of your company first. I actually think you should think about the lower ones first, not the lower ones. What's the right word for that? The people doing the work. That's the right one. Yeah. So no, it's all right. No, it's right. Like it's the next one is, okay, we only get it for executives and managers, and then you have the same problem. Like the manager, what time does he have to actually spend on this? Like I think if the person that gets actionable reports out of this and changes the way they do things, that's really powerful, and that's really where you see a return of investment. Yeah, so what is actually the problem with the rapid approach? And that's what I want to focus on a little bit. One is, it's a prototype. Like, be really careful about when you prototype, when you actually make it operational. Don't just move on and say, okay, it's working, it's fine, we now have reports going. Make sure that things are documented properly, that you have fail safes in place, that you have code repositories. I mean, all these things that, like, I think actually you should start seeing BI almost like an engineering part, like where you have sprints and you develop, and you have QA where you make sure the data is accurate, and all the steps that a regular engineering department does, you should be taking on. Another big mistake that I see on the BI side is that you use engineering resources. So those are really important for your company, if you're a tech company especially. And if now your BI always has to wait for an engineer to have some time, or for like some DBA who is responsible for the production database to have a moment to do something for you, that's really bad and slowing you down. It's great if you can either, like, you can use a third-party tool, which I'm a big fan of. You know, get a tool that is good at what it is good at, and use that instead of trying to build it all internally. And that way you don't have a bottleneck. Or give the data warehouse. Don't give it to the DBA per se or the head of engineering. Give the data warehouse to the head of BI or the analyst, or maybe it's your accounting team or whoever is in charge of your analytics stack. If you're small, maybe it's just a half person, but give it to them. That way they can move forward. They can change things in there. So that's. Yeah, not doing it yourself. Like, don't try to do everything yourself. I think there are some things that you probably want to do yourself, where, you know, maybe you're really great at your R scripts and you want to build some R pipes in there. But if there is things that you can actually utilize existing technologies, it's really important to keep in mind that your company is different, right? Get Your Guide is different than probably any other company that is present here. But at the same time, you're very similar, and there are probably other companies that already have tried to solve it. There's probably a service that is already using it. Maybe you can join a community like you use Pentao, is that right? Yeah, maybe you can join a community where already people have solved similar problems. But yeah, don't think you are completely unique. You know, in the end, you all sell stuff. Like, you're all a company that tries to sell more of it, and that's really important to keep in mind. I think, like, in my ideal world, you almost see BI as a service to the company. Like, it's an infrastructure thing. It's much like that the internet is there. Like, there's someone responsible for making sure the Wi-Fi works. There's someone responsible for making sure that you can easily get your reports. You know, that it's a necessity of your business. I think it's the companies that fail in large numbers are the ones that think data is not necessary to make decisions. I'm just going to create a cool product and people will buy it, and I'm just going to spend some money on Facebook and that works. I think that's a huge mistake. Like, if you the person responsible for your BI, they should see themselves as someone providing a service to your people, figuring out how they can be better at their job, how can customer support be better at what they're doing, know more about the people calling in, how can the product team be better at creating a better product, how can engineering be better. Like, you are a service provider to your company. If you decide that actually you want to have some external help, please email me and we will help you guys out, because I think there's a totally valid, and we have some large companies that are very smart, that definitely have the money and the resources internally to do it, but they actually decide that this person, this engineer right now, he really should be working on making a better app for us. He really should be working on making sure our website runs well. And so instead of putting this really important person behind BI, they decide to bring us in. And I think that's a really, I think it's a great approach, of course, but I think it's also, honestly, rather do it, get us put it into place instead of having it dragging along as someone's, whenever they have time, they get to it and build out a little bit more. Because as we talked earlier about the use cases, you can get up and running and have dashboards ready in no time if you put your focus on it.